once again, this is Glenda with aka GK Fralin with a friendly community. And tonight, again, we are discussing stroke. And I am going to be using a resource we've been using all along, and that is the National Stroke Association. The website is www.stroke.org. Okay, we are going to start with the risk factors. And we want to be able to identify those. And one of them is AFib, stroke connection. Okay, AFib is atrial fibrillation. And it affects an estimated 2.2 million people in the U.S. And AFib, as we abbreviate it to, is a type of irregular heartbeat, often caused when two upper chambers of the heart beat unpredictably and sometimes rapidly. These irregular heartbeats can cause blood to collect in the heart and potentially form a clot, which can travel to the person's brain and cause a stroke. Now this I did take directly from there. I didn't, however, now I'm going to deviate a little bit, because what people don't often know about the heart muscles is that it is not one muscle. It is many muscles. Each heart cell, each cell in the heart, or is its own muscle. And there is a bundle of nerves. I can give you the name, bundle of His, but I doubt if you're going to remember that. But it is a bundle of nerves that is what keeps the rhythmic electrical firing of those nerves to make the heartbeat in sync and regular. That's the word I'm looking for, to beat regularly. With atrial fib, the atrium are the two top chambers. There's 4 chambers in the heart, as most of us probably do know, but they are the 2 top chambers, and those muscles are out of sync. They're not, and it's not like a spasm. This is each muscle is kind of doing its own little thing, and so it causes a flutter, which totally does not pump blood the way it should. And so this is why blood can possibly pool and cause a stroke, cause a blood clot, which can travel to the brain and cause a stroke. Now, this is not the same thing as a heart attack. A heart attack is when the heart muscle starts to die. There's some part of the heart begins to die. It's called a myocardial infarction. Totally different animal. If it causes a stroke, it is a brain attack. We went over this. Lifestyle risk factors. Okay. And these, I think most of us are aware of. Diet and nutrition, and a healthy diet, and I'm going to take directly from the National Heart Association page. Again, a healthy diet can help to reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Now, not just the stroke, but other chronic diseases. Improve your overall health and help you reach or maintain a healthy weight. Eating healthy includes making informed decisions about food choices and balancing your calories. A key recommendation from the 2015 to 2020, we aren't even there yet, dietary guidelines for Americans include the following. Healthier eating habits include a variety of vegetables from all the subgroups, dark greens, reds, and yellows, and legumes, or beans, and peas, those are both legumes, and starchy and other. Okay. Fruits, especially whole fruits, grains, at least half of which are whole grains, Now this is your whole grain bread, whole wheat bread, other whole grain breads, whole grain. I mean, you can get a whole wheat spaghetti and macaroni. We use that. Okay, fat-free or low-fat dairy, including milk, yogurt, cheese, and so forth. And I do eat yogurt. We used to eat a lot of ice cream. Now we eat a couple scoops or big scoops sometimes, of frozen yogurt. A variety of protein foods, including seafood, lean meats and poultry, eggs, and legumes, beans and peas, and nuts, seeds, and soy products. Now, I'm just going to stick my own little 2 cents worth in on this. There are a lot of proteins in legumes and peas and in your vegetarian diet. Please, if you do use a vegetarian diet, go find out which are the most complete proteins. Because a lot of things have protein, but they may not have the complete proteins. Just a word of, there's nothing wrong with being vegan or vegetarian. Just make sure that you know which of those products are full or have some complete proteins in them. And oils. You do need some oils. And I think probably they're talking about fish oil there. Okay. And it goes on what you should limit, and I could go on forever on that kind of stuff. But, it's pretty much it's sodium, fats, that kind of thing. Okay, tobacco, smoking, it's just not good all around. Okay, so we're trying to get everybody off of cigarettes. So they say it does thicken the blood and can cause clot formation and plaque buildup in the arteries. Well, that's one I didn't know, as far as tobacco is concerned. But I guess if it's going to cause thickening of the blood, that can... Anyway, use a quit smoking program is usually, for most people, works. There are ones that you absolutely cannot control. Okay, medical risks, I think I've done that. That was, oh, here we go. High blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, we already went through that. Most of us know to have our blood pressure checked, and most of us, we can go into a Walmart, Target, almost any, or a pharmacy, and buy a blood pressure cuff to have at home. And these days they're electronic, they're very easy to use. So, yeah. And so it's easy. And keep a record. Keep a record of your blood pressures, particularly if you notice your blood pressure is too high or too low, then get a hold of your doctor. High cholesterol. Well, we know high cholesterol diets do cause problems with, blockages and stuff like that because it forms plaque in the vessels. Diabetes, that is a medical factor. If it's type A diabetes, it's not one that you have anything that you can do to prevent having it, but you can definitely make sure you control your diabetic diet and your medications. Circulation problems. Varicose veins, that's one thing that comes to mind for me. If you're getting varicose veins, that means that it's when the veins expand and when they're not supposed to. Okay, that opened up a whole thing that I didn't want to get into. But that's one of the things that I think of. A varicose vein is one that has overly expanded and weakened. And it's a place where a lot of times your blood can pool again and cause causes a clot. And, there's other things that have to do with circulation problems, problems with the heart. Circulation starts in the heart. So atherosclerosis is one thing they mention, which is progressive fatty deposits in the arteries that cause hardening and buildup. And you've heard a lot about hardening of the arteries, and that's what they call it, hardening, but it's caused by a buildup of cholesterol plaques. What are your uncontrollable risk factors? And those are things like you can't control your age, gender, race, or ethnicity, certain races, and it has nothing to do with being racist, but, sometimes our bodies are. And African Americans have twice the risk of stroke, partially because they are more susceptible to high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity. Family history. If you have a family history of stroke, we covered that before. That is definitely a risk factor. If you've had a previous stroke, you want to keep your eye on what's happening. That's when you need to have the blood pressure cuff around the house. Keep that monitored. Do everything your doctor tells you to do. And if you start feeling those symptoms again, you know what to do. You call 911. I was just reading this here. FMD, or fibromuscular dysplasia, is a medical disorder where some of the arteries that carry blood throughout the body do not develop as they should. And that's where we get to that other part. Fibrous tissues grow in the walls of the arteries, and it causes them to narrow. As a result, blood flow in those arteries decrease. Strokes and TIAs can occur without any obvious risk factors because they are caused by a hole in the heart called some might say patent foramen ovale. Okay, I can't pronounce that worth a darn. You don't need it's a PFO. Just remember PFO. We aren't going to worry about all that other. About 1 in 5 Americans has a PFO. And because it is often has no symptoms, then many are not aware, and they may not have any other medical conditions or anything that is warning them of this. All right. That was the uncontrolled. There are places you can go to find out more about this. For one thing, this site. But yeah, I've gone through. That is all of the preventing a stroke. That's all that I've gone through right now. And also things that cannot be prevented. Thank you. Again, this is Glenda with AKA GK Fralin, a friendly community. The community happens in the comments, mostly below, and we have a lot of dialogue there. Please do subscribe if you haven't, and click that little bell down there. That gives you the post notification. Every time I post, you will get a notification, and you can check it out and see if it's one you want to watch. It's totally up to you anyway. This is the end of a day. These things are not easy to talk about, but they need to be discussed. So, I'm not an expert. That's why I give you the sites. National Stroke Association at www.stroke.org. Love you, and I will be back tomorrow, and have a good night. Bye.